What if I told you that behind Carol Burnett's legendary smile, there were feuds, heartbreaks, and a betrayal so deep it changed her life forever? For decades, America saw her as comedy royalty. But as the cameras rolled, Carol faced secrets, sabotage, and emotional battles that fans never knew about. And the darkest moment, it didn't come from an enemy, but from the man she loved most. Let's start at the beginning, because Carol Burnett's rise to stardom is nothing short of unbelievable. Growing up in poverty in Hollywood, she survived a childhood filled with instability, alcoholic parents, and moments where food wasn't even guaranteed. But even in the hardest times, she found escape in laughter. She didn't know it yet, but humor would be her way out. Her big break came when a mysterious man, yes, a complete stranger, gave her a no-strings-attached loan so she could study acting. The only rule? One day, she had to help another young artist. Carol agreed, and that promise became one of the core values of her entire career. But success didn't make life any easier. When The Carol Burnett Show launched in 1967, it became an instant phenomenon. Carol Burnett, Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, Tim Conway. Together, they created some of the funniest moments in TV history. But behind the scenes, tension began to grow, especially between Carol and Harvey Korman. Although he was a comedic genius, Carol later admitted he could be difficult, moody, and unpredictable. At one point, she even fired him for his behavior, only to hire him back when he apologized. But the truth was more shocking. Carol always felt Harvey didn't fully respect her as the star of the show. And that wasn't the only drama. In 1969, Carol made a harmless joke about singer Petula Clark. But the fallout was brutal. Clark was deeply offended, calling the joke hurtful and insensitive. Carol apologized instantly, but Clark refused to forgive her. The feud followed Carol for years, damaging friendships and creating awkwardness every time they crossed paths in the industry. It taught Carol a painful lesson. Even comedians aren't allowed to mess up. But nothing, and I mean nothing, hurt more than what happened with her husband, Joe Hamilton. Joe was not only her partner, he was the producer of her show. Together, they were a Hollywood power couple, but behind closed doors, Joe struggled with jealousy and control issues. When Carol's fame exploded, Joe changed. Their arguments became constant. And then came the betrayal that shattered her. Joe had been unfaithful. When the truth came out, Carol was devastated. She described it as one of the most painful chapters of her life, a wound that changed her marriage forever. But the surprises didn't stop. One night, Marlon Brando, yes, the Marlon Brando, called her unexpectedly. She thought it was a prank at first, but no. Brando confessed he was a huge fan, and then asked her out. Carol declined, saying she admired him but wasn't interested. Brando didn't take it well. For years he avoided her, completely offended that she turned him down. Then there was Cary Grant. During a rehearsal, Carol imitated his voice as a joke, something she did for laughs all the time. But Grant didn't laugh. He confronted her angrily, saying she insulted him publicly. Carol was stunned. The two never fully reconciled, and the moment haunted her for years. And if all of that wasn't enough, Carol also faced rejection from one of the biggest institutions in comedy, Saturday Night Live. When producer Lorne Michaels launched SNL, he refused to hire Carol as a guest or a cast member. Fans begged him to bring her on, but Michaels insisted the show needed to be younger. To Carol, it was a painful reminder that Hollywood often forgets its legends. Through all the conflict, heartbreak, and betrayal, Carol Burnett never stopped smiling, never stopped performing, never stopped inspiring people. Her strength didn't come from fame. It came from everything she survived. And today, she's more than a comedy icon. She's a symbol of resilience, because behind every laugh she gave the world was a woman who refused to break,